I cheer for the little guys. I love big guitar brands, but there's nothing that makes me happier than seeing beautiful guitars enter the world and into the hands of guitar players. So in this video, I want to talk about this guitar. This is a Cirrus Guitars. This is a handmade guitar in Michigan for $2,500. That is insane. Buckle in. Let's hear this guitar first, and then I want to talk about what's good about this thing, what's bad about this thing, and if you're in the market, should you consider buying a Cirrus guitar? This is the COMD, a Dreadnought Depth OM. Let's talk specs. This guitar is a solid Adirondack spruce top. On the back is solid East Indian rosewood. On the front, the bridge and the fingerboard are ebony, and the headstock is beautiful with a real mother-of-pearl inlay. On the back are Grand Tune tuners, similar to other guitars in the same price point. Bone nut, bone saddle. You can tell that they are shaped and sculpted by the men themselves making these guitars in Michigan. Some other specs on this guitar. This is a 25.39-inch scale length. It is old growth Indian rosewood back and sides. It's a AAA grade Adirondack spruce top. The braces are red spruce. It's a vintage style 18 for the neck profile. For the neck style, it's a low oval. Now this guitar is a mortise joint neck, so it's a bolt-on neck rather than being a dovetail. That is one of the ways that this guitar gets to be in the more affordable range, but that used to scare me off, but now it is a thing that I really love and I've embraced because guitars need to be tweakable. And so this is one of the ways that guitars get to be more tweaky over the years, and they're a little easier to live with. There is a minimal tonal difference. If there is a tonal difference, I'm not even really convinced anymore that there is. Any other noticeable specs that are interesting? 1 3/4 nut width, and then 2 3/16 at the 12th fret. So it's a good, comfortable fingerstyle kind of guitar. now that the boring specky stuff is out of there, let's talk about this guitar in real time. I've owned this guitar for about 2.5, 3 weeks now. I've played it a lot, and I have played this guitar with the intention of paying attention to the details so I can help people like you make an informed decision on this guitar. I have come away thinking that this guitar is underpriced. I told them, I think you need to raise the price. This seems too low for all that you're getting. $2,500 made in the US. Okay, what's good about this guitar? This guitar is remarkably good quality materials. AAA Adirondack spruce top, has this East Indian rosewood back and sides. It's really, really beautiful and kind of purpley and streaky. I mean, this guitar, everything about it just reads that this is a better guitar. It feels like a boutique guitar, which I think is the absolute goal, that it just feels like a good, exciting, high quality guitar. It's a satin finish. It's not a gloss finish, but this guitar has so many good things going for it. The tone is light and airy, has this really warm bass and low end. It's incredibly resonant. This guitar, you feel it. Like, a good guitar should rattle your ribs, and this guitar, you feel it up against your body in such a way that it just makes my heart so happy. The guitar has a volute on the back of the headstock, which, if you know me, your boy loves volutes. I think it's a beautiful little flourish. I always love details that are beautiful for the guitar player, because there's a lot of pretty stuff. You guys get, people watching guitar players get to see a lot of pretty things and experience pretty things, but there's some of those things that are just so nice for the experience of playing guitar. Same thing is true with the Grand Tune tuners. They're really pretty to look at, and it's always interesting to me that they don't have that screw down the back of them. And they're just, I think for what they are, they're a good quality tuner that kind of gives you good reliability in the guitar. There are a million good things about this guitar, but it's not a perfect guitar. So let's talk honestly about the things that aren't quite perfect, that aren't as good. Let's say things that are bad about this Cirrus COMD. Number one, the brand is pretty new. They say the worst car to ever buy is the first model year. And so some of the concerns that you might have on a guitar like this are, well, these guys are brand new. Well, they don't have, I don't know who they are. I don't know where they come from. But to alleviate some of that worries, these guys, both Tobin comes from McGlasson guitars. He's made really, really nice and really expensive guitars in the past on his own. And then there's also, this guitar belongs to the family of MJ Frank Guitars, which is an amazing builder that is involved in this guitar company. So a bad thing is less name recognition, and it is a bit confusing from a customer perspective. Like, okay, I'm buying a Cirrus guitar, but there's MJ Frank and there's McGlasson. Like, there's a lot going on there. But it's similar to Iris guitars, where Iris guitars and Circle Strings and Fairbanks, and there's a bunch of names all tied together. So that's a thing that might be worth thinking about. Another thing that is not as good on this guitar, or could be perceived as a bad thing on this guitar, is it's a satin finish. That's one of the ways that these guitars get to be more affordable, is that you have to be able to shrink the amount of labor that goes into a guitar like this. So if I had to pick anything that was kind of a gripe on this guitar, is that because of the finish on the back, and I talked to the people that build this guitar, and there are little spots where the finish has dipped down into the rosewood, and I can feel the guitar vibrating as I talk. But this guitar, there are some spots in the East Indian that it's dropped in, that the pore fill It either wasn't pore filled. I don't understand the process, and I wish I knew more, but it's just a little thing. But even then, I own guitars that are 3 times the price of this guitar, and they have the same problem. So I can't be that upset. The last thing, if I had to pick on a thing about this guitar, and I've said this before, if you're building guitars, probably the hardest thing has to be making a headstock that doesn't look like something you've already seen. And to me, this headstock looks like an Ibanez from the early 2000s. So that's just a thought that I had the other day. I was like, ooh, it really looks like an Ibanez acoustic, but it's just a gentle curve on a kind of a squared off headstock. It's, it's similar to the Larrivee shape. I mean, what are your options? You basically have one contour you can really change. So those are the things that I would say aren't as good on this guitar. The emphatic, exciting part of this review for me. Should you buy one of these guitars? I would say for sure. If you are a playing musician that wants a really good guitar that is made in the US, that will grow with you and sound better as you grow and you play guitar more. The person who's going to buy this, you're going to be tempted by guitars like Eastman, some of those high-end Eastmans. I find they're beautiful. They're good guitars, but they're just a little tighter. This guitar sounds like an American-made boutique, high-quality guitar, and those guitars sound pretty good. Like, I don't know how to compare that, and I'm not trying to pick on Eastman, but the person who's looking at this guitar, $2,500 to $3,000, this gets you a lot of guitar. And it's a guitar that you're taking a bit of a gamble right now because they're so brand new. But, I mean, this is guitar 162. I know they've made more than that, but officially this is 162. So they're getting there. But my Showalter back here is, that's 108. And so, I mean, I jumped in with Showalter and I believed in him, and it has not done me wrong because that's an amazing guitar. So, should you buy this guitar? Yes. If you're in the market, if you're looking for this kind of guitar, this rings many of the bells that you would need. Now, with that said, let there be some caution. All guitars take some time to get used to being a guitar instead of being a stack of lumber. So they're going to move and they're going to change and they're going to get tweaky. And so sometimes the hardest part of owning a guitar like this is like 6 months later, that first real season change, when you start feeling some fret sprout on the side of the neck, or you start thinking, man, this thing doesn't play like it once did. Hang in there. If you're going to buy a guitar like this, you need to know somebody who's good at fixing guitars, or if you need to learn how to work and tweak and set up guitars. I mean, most guitars, professional guitars included, maybe even more, are going to take 3 or 4 years or 3 or 4 seasons, so 2 years, maybe 3 years, to really get used to being an instrument that sings and plays and works with its player, and then also learns how to live in the climate that you're in. So I live in South Louisiana. It's incredibly humid and hot in the summer, and in the winter it's February and it is 77 degrees outside, and it's very humid. Actually, it was 84 today. So some guitars just need to acclimate. So I hope that this video is helpful. Thanks to Cirrus Guitars. Now, this video is sponsored by Cirrus Guitars. They sent me this guitar in exchange for this review. But all the ways in which I benefit from these companies, they don't get my opinion, they just get my time. And so this is my honest opinion. I would be very happy if I owned this guitar. If I bought this guitar, I totally see the appeal of this. It is a vintage-inspired but still modern guitar that is comfortable, really light, plays great, sounds really good, and I know that it's going to grow really, really well and age gracefully because it's a familiar recipe. This is a Martin-style guitar with some really beautiful kind of tweaks and modernization. So thanks for watching this video. I'm Jeremy. This is Guitar Hunter. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. You got a gig. Go fill the world with music and friendship. Make music, make friends, invite friends into playing music with you. See ya.